So usually when you hear people claim that aliens are already living amongst us on Earth disguised as humans, then you are probably on some kind of conspiracy channel or you're watching a science fiction movie. But a few days ago, a study came out that was conducted by Harvard that claims just that aliens might already be living amongst us, disguised as humans. So the study apparently explores 4 theories of aliens living near humans. So those 4 theories that this study apparently investigated or looked at is the theory of human cryptoterrestrials, which is the idea that a highly advanced ancient human civilization may continue to exist even after some catastrophic events like floods. The theropod or hominid cryptoterrestrials, which is another theory that states the possibility of a non-human society dwelling underground, evolving from terrestrial creatures like intelligent dinosaurs or ape-like hominids. Extraterrestrial or former extraterrestrial cryptoterrestrials. This is a theory that claims that aliens may have traveled from the moon or other places to visit Earth and hiding themselves amongst us. And magical cryptoterrestrials, okay, which are beings that are like earthbound angels, having magical rather than technological relationships with humans, like folklore creatures like fairies and elves. And I'm just reading this and I'm like, what the hell is going on, dude? What are you guys doing over at Harvard? Look, I'm all in favor of investigating UFOs. I'm all in favor at looking what it is and exploring possibilities. I'm not saying don't conduct these studies, but that shit seems delusional to me, okay? That's weird. But I mean, these are all highly educated people. And I found an interview with one of the people who contributed to the study, who worked on it, okay? And I want to look at it. I've only seen the beginning, so I want to fly through this interview with you guys and kind of react to it on the fly. And I mean, guys, by all means, share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you feel this is a study that should be done? Do you feel it has credibility, or do you feel it's completely insane? Let's get into this video. So it's an interview on Fox News of all channels. And I mean, Fox News in the past is kind of the channel that's known for peddling these kinds of very out there theories. But this is an interview with Michael P. Masters. Let's see what he has to say.
Researchers are now suggesting aliens could actually be living among us disguised as humans. Not kidding. Montana Technical University professor Dr. Michael P. Masters was part of that study, and he joins us right now. Michael, good morning to you.
Morning. Thanks for having me on.
It's good to have you. Professor, wasn't that the ending of, I think it was Men in Black, the movie, where at the end they had the screen full of people who were, or rather aliens, living amongst us?
It's been a while since I've seen that one, but it's certainly a possibility. The subject does make its way into a lot of pop culture, so it's certainly possible.
Love the other co-host's face, bro. He's like, really? We're wasting our time with this? The question is also so stupid, right? It's like, so, Mr. Person who worked on the study from Harvard, is that not like Men in Black? It's like, I mean, I get it, dude. If you're a Fox News viewer, your intellectual capabilities are probably limited. But I mean, people can still understand basic questions. It's just such a dumb question to get into this. Clearly, they're just doing this for the entertainment value. They don't have a genuine interest in investigating what's behind it and what the thoughts of these guys were.
So, Doctor, I mean, what is the chances of this? I mean, it seems like every year we have some type of story that it could be true.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is we're very cautious and conservative in writing this paper. And mostly what we're trying to do here is look at the oddities and the weirdness of the UFO phenomenon, which we can acknowledge is real. And as much as this might be difficult to swallow for some of my academic colleagues and for a large percentage of the population, it's important to start moving the conversation past are UFOs real and past the cockpit videos and the testimonies in front of Congress, right, and the whistleblowers and a Schumer amendment and so many things that indicate that this should be taken seriously, and move the needle a little farther into the realm of, well, what are they? Who are they? What could they be doing? Why are they here?
He just jumped a massive logical hoop. Note what he did there, right? It's really interesting because he started by saying, I think we can all agree that the UFO phenomenon is real. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on board with this. The UFO phenomenon is real. Things are flying in the sky that we cannot identify, all right? Then he goes on to say, you know, all these witnesses, credible witnesses like David Grush, probably that's kind of who he's referencing, and military witnesses like David Fravor, I think is his name. Like, is it Captain Fravor? I don't recall his name. But the guy who was at Joe Rogan, right, and was talking about this Tic Tac sighting. He's like a credible witness. He's military personnel. He is trained in observing these kinds of things. So I'm still on board. I'm like, yeah, okay, true. We should investigate these kinds of things. But then he says we need to move the needle a little bit further into why are they here and who are they? It's like, no, stop. What are you talking about, dude? Every single case that we've really investigated and looked into, that we had enough data on, we really, like, with a very, very, very small margin, we could explain and we could debunk, okay? The idea that now we're jumping to the conclusion of saying these are probably extraterrestrials and we should kind of move the needle, as he says, into the idea of these are probably extraterrestrials and why are they here, is a massive logical leap. There is simply no tangible evidence for that. You have people telling stories, and these people might be considered credible witnesses, but someone telling a story is not evidence. Okay, even if you have, let's say, radar data and a story from someone who's considered credible, that is not considered real evidence. Sure, you can ask questions and you can investigate what it is, but to jump to the conclusion and say, well, probably aliens, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. The credibility is out the window for me personally, because there's nothing here that indicates little spacemen come to Earth and fly around in tic-tac-shaped things. I understand that many people like to believe this, but to be honest, from like an expert, alleged expert who participated in these studies, I expect a little bit more critical reflection on this topic. I'm not going to lie, but let's keep going.
And the testimonies in front of Congress,
right,
and the whistleblowers, and a Schumer amendment, and so many things that indicate that this should be taken seriously, and move the needle a little farther into the realm of, well, what are they? Who are they? What could they be doing? Why are they here? Right. And that's a big part of why we wrote this paper.
And I know in the paper you talk a little bit about, you know, why do we always see these things around lakes and things like that, or volcanoes? And so the suggestion is, and you know, it's just conjecture, but maybe they came here a long time ago and they've been hiding out there for a while?
Yeah, that's a great question. And sort of the reason I was involved in this study is I've written 3 books over the last 5 years looking at whether they could potentially be future humans coming back through time. And one aspect of this cryptoterrestrial model that we discussed is exactly that they could potentially be extraterrestrial coming from a different planet, and they just set up shop here as it's easier than traveling.
Dude, no. What are you doing? Where is the evidence for any of this? I mean, it's a nice theory, right? It's a theory, and if you clearly proclaim it as like it's probably science fiction, and we have no evidence, like, you know, you're assuming that time travel is possible in this theory. And it's like, okay, so surely you would have some kind of evidence that would indicate that time travel is involved in this. Let me guess. There's absolutely nothing. It's just him babbling along. And the way he talks about it, again, this is just my opinion, but the more I listen to this guy, it feels like he's just trying to cash a paycheck, right? Because this stuff sells very well. If you come out and you make a study that has the Harvard stamp on it, and claim these kinds of things, you know, that gets the public's attention. And as he said, he's already mentioned it, he's plugging his 3 books. I've written 3 books, you guys should kind of check them out. Didn't say this, but he's clearly plugging his books and his works, trying to sell his books. So, I don't know, man. My alarm bells go off in regards to that guy being credible and actually having an interest in disclosing this and having possibly, in my personal opinion, more of a financial interest in that. That's how it feels to me at this point.
Across the cosmos. Same thing with this extraterrestrial model, that if they were coming from our future, rather than jumping back and forth through time, if they set up shop underground, under the seas, as you're alluding to, possibly on the far side of the moon, it would save a lot of time and energy, and they could conduct whatever it is these activities are that are so important to them here with us at this time, in this place, and without all of the need for constant travel.
I guess
do you see the problem here, right? Is it humans? Do they come from the future? Do they go through time travel? Do they set up shop at the bottom of lakes or the sea to do the things that are so important to them? Do you know what I mean? All of this is just he's going from A to B to C to D. None of this has any credibility or relevance. He's just making it up. He's like, yeah, you know, if they're at the bottom of the sea, which I don't know they are, we got no evidence for that, but if they are, they probably are doing things that are very important to them, which I have also no evidence for, but let's assume that as well. And we're just assuming 25 things in a row. Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel like a house of cards that's built on credibility falling apart in front of me.
Doctor, the big question would be, is there like a baseline where, when it comes to vitals, where you say this person has to be a human? And if something is different, it's like, this is a little weird. Like, how would you test?
Right? Now, this is actually a good question because he's trying to make it tangible. He's like, okay, based on your theory, some humans might actually be us from the future or some kind of extraterrestrials. How would you test something like that? That's a tangible question, right? What is the difference between those aliens and us? Like, do they have different organs, or what is actually a physical thing that we can talk about here that would be closest to some kind of proof or evidence? Let's see what Mr. Michael P. Masters has to say about that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you're right. One of the things that we looked at is, could they be walking amongst us? And I know that, again, conjures up these outlandish notions of some people being aliens, and you're eating breakfast and there's an alien across the cafe. But what we're saying, I know, and we definitely are the first to acknowledge that a lot of this can seem a little crazy. But again, if you think about them in the context of future humans, and that's just one potential possibility here, we would share a lot of physiological characteristics with them, have the opportunity to interbreed. We could hybridize across time, potentially across space. So, and there are, it's important to point out too, the Institute of Noetic Sciences, the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Foundation, all of these studies have shown there are people with extraordinary abilities, like psi abilities, remote viewing, and things like that.
Very interesting stuff.
Stunning report.
Thank you, sir.
Amazing stuff. We got to end it here, guys. Let's move on. So did you notice what he did there, right? He kind of evaded the question because he doesn't have an answer to it. He's like, let's assume that it's humans from the future, so they would share loads of characteristics with us, so they're kind of similar to us. So, dude, he's saying everything and nothing. This is, I don't know, man. It just confuses me that if you conduct a study that has, like I said, the Harvard stamp on it, dude, you gotta have something that's tangible. You gotta have something beyond, well, this is a theory, that could be a theory. I don't understand why Harvard allowed him to take this forward in the way they did. This is super confusing to me. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Again, I'm all for investigating theories and putting them to the test and investigating the UFO phenomenon as a whole and seeing what these unknown flying objects that are real, right? We do see things in the sky that we can't identify what they are, like to look into that. I'm all for that. But dude, I mean, what is this? What am I looking at here? It's nothing. If you have the slightest level of critical thinking, then this just descends into obscurity. It perfectly fits into a Fox News interview, but it doesn't fit into the real world, especially if that person claims to have a somewhat scientific approach to this and puts the Harvard stamp on the study. But guys, that's just my take on it. I'm confused by this. To be honest, I think it will go away as fast as it appeared. And if you check it, there's nobody else talking about it. It's not that every single news outlet covers this story. Especially the big ones really shy away from it. You see who's covering it. It's like Mint is covering, NDTV is covering, the Economic Times, Money Control, but that's about it. Okay, so it's not that this really hit the press and everyone jumps on it and says, oh my God, there's so much here that we need to discuss in terms of aliens already living amongst us, because there's just not. There's just nothing here. And I didn't understand how it made it through the Harvard study quality control or whatever you want to call it, guys. But that's my take. Leave your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. I appreciate you watching the video. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Also, join our Discord if you want to discuss this and other things. It's a great community. The link to that is down in the description. I hope to meet you there. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Bye.